everyone. Welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Melody. I'm your host and I'm here with Camille.
Hello.
Yay, so glad to have you back for day 2 of UI UX Design Week. And hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for being here. I see some familiar names. Dan, Yanina, Voodoo Val in the house, Mark, Albert, hello. We have awesome designers this week, so let's look at our schedule in case anyone has missed any of them. At 8:30, we have Howard kicking off the XD Daily Creative Challenge, which has 2 more days left. His videos are really great for helping you get started. And then at 9, we had Erica with me. And then at 11, we had John, hosted by Howard. And then at 1, right now we have Camille and me. So, yay, I'm excited to have everyone back with us today. For everyone in the chat, we are having another chat and win. And today's prize is 100 free stickers from Sticker Mule that are customizable. So if you design something and you want it to become a sticker, this is a great way to do that.
Yay.
And so all you have to do is just be active in the chat, ask a design question or any questions for Camille or me, we'd be happy to answer them. And then there's also a code for 10 stickers for $1 for anyone wondering from Sticker Mule. And then we're also going to be reviewing your design challenges for the XD Daily Creative Challenge. And if we switch to my screen really fast, I can kind of give you guys an overview. So if you go to behance.net/dailycreativechallenge, you can find out all the information you need about how to register. Basically, when you register, it kind of means that you just get notifications for it. That's pretty much all you have to do. And then it's really simple. Basically, each day you get a challenge prompt, kind of, and then Howard will have a video kind of explaining how to get started and give you examples and ideas. And there's also a template, which is really helpful, because I know when I do like a daily challenge, I'm like, I don't know where to start. But the template really helps.
Daunting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we also have a Slack channel, if you haven't heard. It's an XD Slack channel, and here's the link right up here. And there's like 14,000 members, which is crazy. And there's a lot of great mentors on there if you want feedback on your design. So you can submit them, get feedback from the community and from mentors. So that's a great way to do that. And also if you want live feedback from Camille and I, you can submit what you've been working on for today, which is rating a user experience, or having the experience of someone rating a product or service after they've used it. So if you have been working on that since this morning, or if you're just starting, please submit it for us, because we would love to review them and give you some feedback. So I'm excited to see that. Oh, Mana's saying, I think we reached 17,000 on the Slack channel. Wow.
Wow, that's impressive.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yes. Yay, so Camille, maybe you can tell us kind of an overview of what you worked on yesterday.
Yes. So for those of you that were here yesterday, we are working on an app. And I'll say that normally I don't work on apps as much. I'm more of a website person. But this was a nice challenge, and I encourage everyone to challenge themselves every once in a while. So that's kind of why I chose to go with this. It's a business idea that I have. So also looking forward to hearing feedback from the community on what you think of the app. And the app is for an art subscription service. So the idea is that you would log in, create your account, and then you would be able to subscribe to receive art every 6 or 12 months. And the whole point of this is to just help emerging designers that are trying to get their work out there and don't know where to go, and also get people to discover art, learn more about art, find information about the influences, certain movements of art that could be valuable for people to be investing in art in the future. And then potentially after having the art at home for 6 months or 12 months, deciding to keep it.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting product that it being a subscription service, it allows people to just change the art and the decor of their house every so often. So it's actually for all of the people that have kind of hectic lifestyles that like maybe aren't sure how to decorate their homes.
Yeah, they don't have time to kind of sit down and think.
Yeah.
Look through Pinterest. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Just go through Pinterest and look at people's apartment or room decor and get ideas. But that can be time consuming.
Yeah, so the service is both for artists and for the buyer. We're gonna call it a buyer, even though it's actually like a renter, art renter. And we also have the figure of the curator. So in the art world, the people that would connect these two people could be the art dealer. So that person will play a little bit of that role, connecting the person that maybe knows what they like and what they don't like, but don't know how to choose art, and then delivering them like a selection of art pieces created by different artists. Maybe we spoke yesterday about maybe selecting from local artists.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's something that you can do on the app and say restrict to people in my city. So if you want to support the community.
Yeah.
So things like that. So it is a marketplace, which means that designing the app, we have to think of the different types of users and how they will interact with it. So a quick recap of what we did yesterday. We went through the strategy of it, but then we also spent a lot of time going through the user flow and understanding how people will get introduced to this app and what type of message they'll get right away. And from there, we'll jump to the account creation. So people will create their profile, enter their email, password, select what type of audience they are, and then they'll go on to maybe either continue creating their profile with more details about the house, the type of room they want to put the art on, and also potentially like giving us more information, maybe if they live with kids or if they live with roommates. We were talking,
all those things that can affect what kind of art you want in your home. And
And we also spoke of the fact that maybe you're not the only decision maker as far as it comes to art. Maybe you share your house with roommates or with a partner, and you have to like share it with them. So and then obviously we would have the option to browse the art, browse some artists, find out more about their influences, or go to the curator landing page. So the idea today is just to continue with wireframes. So far, so if that happens to you, I always do Command 0 and just get...
I didn't know that.
Oh,
it's a cool little trick.
Yeah, I get lost often, so then you do Command 0 and then it shows you all the artboards that are present. I had to learn because one day I just couldn't find anything and I was like, I lost it all. I didn't.
That's funny.
So we started with just a very simple welcome message and asking people to enter their name and the tagline of welcome to your own private gallery. And then providing some information about the product. The product so far is called Nouveau, although we're open to suggestions if people have some.
If you have any name suggestions for this art subscription app, let us know in the chat. But I like Nouveau.
Yeah, thanks. And then after people just find out more about the service, we talked about having testimonials, so some quotes of people that have used it to just give that sense of trust. So we're integrating that piece in the splash screen, which is something I actually hadn't heard of, hadn't thought of, but it helps people just like feel more at ease before giving information on their homes or where they live.
Yeah.
So, great.
Yay. We have a question from Albert. Hi, Albert. You had some awesome suggestions yesterday, so it's awesome to have you back in the chat. So Albert is saying, what would be the incentive for the curator to participate? Would it be that they would become more known, or do they get commission? And I think that's a great question.
Yes. So actually, that's a great point. I explained yesterday that my role is usually more in the UX strategy and business side of things. So that's actually something we've been thinking of a lot. This is a project we're creating a business plan for. And obviously the curator having that like very, very important role, we need to give them something. So the commission is probably what we'll go with. Obviously, it's also a way for people to just get out there and like make a name of themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it can be a way for people to discover them, and like we were saying, that they would have like a mood board or something, and maybe they could link their Instagram or something like that where they show all their work or something, and they can get more followers and build their audience.
And I think it's actually, it would be great. I hope this project actually sees the light of day one day. But maybe like you and I could become curators. Like you don't know who, like maybe you're good at that and you just like didn't know. Yeah. So having that possibility to like create your profile and just like create maybe a selection of art pieces that you would put together and then have people maybe match with you. The idea is for the user to match with you based on what you've created. So your mood board, we talked about AR a little bit, so maybe like the curator, obviously this is not something I'm gonna create today, but maybe the curator could have like an empty room and like an AR empty, I don't know, and then they can like create their own selection. So that's the incentive, a little commission.
Yeah, I like that. And then another question from Mark, how do you choose colors for your design?
So how do I choose colors for my design? Actually, that's a great question. So I won't be choosing colors just yet, but I do have, I'll show you the colors I was playing with a little bit. It has a lot to do with the brand. So keep in mind, this is obviously a new product. So you don't have a brand to start with. The brand identity will be probably something that it gets developed before we do the UX. So you start with those colors. But I would say for me, it's based on the identity, the tones, like the brand, just like voice.
Yeah, like I think the feeling you want people to feel when they look at your app. Like there's calm colors like blue or like purple, or more vibrant colors like orange and red, or I don't know. I think like looking at the meanings of colors and like the psychology behind it is really cool. Yeah. And you can see that, like I like to go on Dribbble or Behance and just look at design, like what people have been designing, and you can kind of tell like the calm meditation apps, or like, you know, those like calming neutral, or not neutral, but like those colors, you can kind of tell the vibe. And I think that's also something to keep in mind.
And there's like trends as well. It's always good as a designer to like keep up with the trends of like what are the color, what is the color of the year, what are the colors people are using the most. And make a decision based on that. It doesn't mean you have to go with that color. Sometimes it's just an opportunity for you to stay away from that color and say we want to provide something a little different to the usual colors that people are seeing. So that's a great way to just like keep up with the trends, like you said, like go and see what other people are doing. And then I actually have a friend who just joined the chat, Colleen.
Oh, hi, Colleen.
Hey! Who helped me select the accent colors.
Oh, nice.
So I was going for something a little bit more sober and quiet. And she's a very vibrant person. And she said, no, you should go with something a little bit more lively, since all of my colors, my primary colors, are pretty quiet and neutral. And the reason I went with these is because we talked about this brand being elegant and serious to a certain extent, but like not too much. So the idea obviously is to have that balance of just something neutral for the background, some darker colors maybe for the typography, and then these accent colors for action to lead users to create the account, so for buttons and active states like that. Hey, I have Meg. Okay, I also want to say that this, like I said, this is a business idea, and my business partner just joined the chat.
Oh, Megan. Hi, Megan. That's so cool.
Yes.
So this is a project that you want to become real.
Yes.
Hopefully it will.
Definitely want for it to become real.
That's awesome.
Unless you guys tell me that it's completely useless, and then maybe I'll just...
I think a lot of people could use this.
Good. Okay, so Yeah, we got to the point yesterday where we just had the user select the type of user they are. So they're either interested in the Nouveau subscription, they're an artist looking to sell their work, or a curator hoping to help buyers find the right pieces for them. And we did this whole select all that apply, since you might be looking to do more than one. One thing that just I thought about as soon as we finished the stream yesterday is that obviously if people are selecting from the different boxes, we need to have an action button. So, because originally when it was just one or the other, if you just clicked on one, it would lead you to the next screen.
Oh, okay.
But here, since you have to select more than one, you have to have
true.
the action button.
Yeah, a way
the
for them
submit.
to
Yeah.
move on to the next step of the process.
So what language should I use? Submit or next?
So
Start.
what would come after this?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I think we're going to create the profile. So
Okay.
start my profile or create profile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haley says that they would love to use something like this, and it's such a cool idea.
Yay!
agree.
There you go. Validated. We're doing it, Meg.
Yeah.
So there you go. We would have our button, and I do realize the style of the button is very similar to like the boxes that we have here. So like that could be confusing from a UX perspective. So that's definitely something to like rectify when we're working on the design of it.
Yeah.
Just like with the colors, and like I said, like use the accent color more for these type of like actionable.
And maybe like the boxes could be a filled color, and then the call to action could be an outline or something, or like vice versa. I don't know, just to make sure the user knows that these are different things.
So I actually also I was browsing some ideas, some like looking at some other work, and I realized that the first thing I want people to see is just the name of the brand, and then lead them to the welcome screen. So I'm just gonna put this very big.
I saw someone mention Framed as the name of the app, which could be kind of cool.
Interesting.
But also it kind of makes me think of like a murder mystery type of
Oh
game
yeah,
or something.
And you've been framed.
Yeah.
We do not want
Yeah.
people to associate it to that, but
Yeah.
I think it could be. It could be like
could work
yeah.
either way, as long as their like the brand identity is there. I think.
Yeah.
That could help. And then Ashwini is asking, to create a responsive design, do I have to create different size artboards every time, or is there some other way? Because responsive resize doesn't always work. I think I kind of know what you mean. Sometimes when you are doing responsive resize, a lot of elements won't resize, like text or symbols or a repeat grid. So I think you might have to do those separate elements on your own, and then, but I think you can, once you have your size of device in responsive resize, you can duplicate the artboard and then change things around, so you don't have to do it over and over. So I think for each size, you'd have to do it once and then duplicate the artboard. That's what I do.
Yeah. Okay, so then we would have a person start creating their profile. And just as a reference, if you didn't watch yesterday, these lines that I have in the background are, I don't know if you can see them actually.
They're really light.
Yeah. So I have this like fast sketch drawing I did of just a window. And the reason why we went with this is because I have this idea that maybe because we're talking about redecorating your home, people should arrive to the app and get the feeling that they're at home. And the idea of like this light shining in through a window might be a good way to like give that sense of
That
of
homey
cozy.
vibe.
Yeah. And as a reference, I'll also say that the way I do design, I focusing a lot on the strategy and the findings from research. I'll have information here of like the personas that will help me create the type of screens that I want, just making sure that I'm providing what they need.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I have this list of design criteria. So we created these yesterday thanks to the people.
Yeah, it was like live and from all your feedback, which was awesome. And we love hearing all your ideas because they're really good ideas. And I love when you guys pitch in and I like how you just kept typing, like going back to this and now you have this little reference point that you can go back to. So that's really nice.
So yeah, I'll always keep coming back here. So I'm going to add the idea of calling this framed. Just as a random idea, because you never know, this might not be the right name for the app in general, but like maybe it could be one of the features. So random ideas, just always make sure to capture them because they might come in handy later. And for the design criteria, just like always make sure to come back when you're designing.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah, so needs to feel personal and trustworthy, so that this line, the idea of it being trustworthy, was what led us to add a testimonial. And maybe that's something that we keep on adding along the way. Okay, so creating the profile. So maybe at this point after their intro, we don't have the window anymore, I don't know. And then, so the person will enter the email and password. And then I'll take the I wonder if that's confusing. So they came here and they said select all the okay,
So this create profile screen is right after this last screen. Okay.
So they have an intro and then they I don't know.
Maybe because I feel like once they hit this screen, they're kind of already starting their profile because they're selecting what they're interested in. So maybe, I don't know if the word create profile.
Here?
Yeah.
It's confusing.
I don't know. Maybe on the next screen because I don't know if there's more that they have to do until their profile's done.
So just next?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any suggestions of what we should name this? It's always hard to think about how to word things that make sense to the user and kind of work with the flow of everything.
Yeah. So I think it's also because I don't have something like text at the top. Like people are like coming here and they're like, what am I supposed to be doing? So.
Oh yeah, like a header or something.
Okay, so let's get in the mind of the user. So they read about it, then they read the testimonial. Continue. Okay. I'm gonna leave it empty for now, and then we can think
Maybe
about it.
Maybe we can come back to it.
Yeah.
Mana's saying next.
Okay.
I think, next.
Okay. And then here, they can enter email and enter password, and then they create profile. So then we can have a little thing that says, congratulations. You are now officially a member of Nouveau.
Hi Gulam, welcome. Camille is using Adobe XD to create her wireframes for her art subscription app. And XD is also free if you want to download it and see all the amazing things it can do. It's great for designing and prototyping. And you're in the right place to see how all the things that it can do. So. So when they see the button, I'm interested in the nouveau description, I think they might mean subscription. Do they already know what the subscription entails or costs?
Okay, that's a really good point. So they know about it. They know nouveau is the right frame of mind, which I actually think was one of your ideas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nouveau is a platform that connects you with artists across the U.S., offering a curated selection of your home base for your home based on your personal taste. Nouveau will connect you with your own personal curator. Nouveau will select the artist, find the artwork, frame, and mount the art for you. Nouveau is here to make your home more uniquely yours, empower artists, and enlighten you to become the art connoisseur you never knew you could be. Mm-hmm. So that's what they know. And then we have the testimonial. So no, they don't know the price yet because there are different tiers.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how would that subscription look like? Would there be like level 1, or I don't know how you would name it, but maybe like not so expensive art pieces, and then kind of the tiers would depend on what kind of art, maybe? I don't know. What were you thinking about that?
So I think from the business perspective, we were thinking of having different tiers so that maybe depending on your budget, you can receive different types of art. I don't know if I would put the price right away. So what I would say is maybe I'll add like a little copy that says like different price tiers available. Different.
Yeah, just kind of giving that extra context. And then I think it also makes them want to keep going forward to see what those are.
Yeah, so usually like at this point, this person hasn't created, hasn't given their like account information, like their bank account information, or any payment.
Yeah.
So that's important for them to just like understand the service before they give any of that. And to be honest, from a business perspective, like from the transaction and service design, we don't need that information until the very end, until they like confirm that they want a selection of art sent to their home. So we can like delay that as much as we can.
I just thought of something. So for the artists that are selling their work, does this app take like a percentage of what they sell their art for as a way to like build revenue for the business? Because I know on like some apps like Poshmark, where you sell clothes, like the app takes a percentage of what you sell it for, and then OfferUp takes like a percentage, or eBay. So I'm wondering if that would be something like the artists, like they have a set price.
Yes.
And then this takes like a percentage of that.
Yes, so the pricing strategy is something we're still working on because of the little details that we need to consider, like shipping and storage and like all of those things. It's a big,
there's a lot of logistics that go into it.
Yes, it's a big like logistic blueprint of like the supply chain of it all. But so yeah, the idea is obviously that the artist would like set their price. We would definitely help them. I think that's one of the problems we've realized is that especially emerging artists don't know how to price their own art. And we did a little bit of research and looked at maybe like professors at art schools giving advice to their own students to not price it too low or not price it too high.
Yeah, I know that's hard. Yeah. As someone that creates something, it's hard to know like what is this worth?
And I think like with data collection, we would be able to give good advice on like this art is at this price.
Oh, it's chat and win time. Yay! So everyone in the chat, if you haven't already said something, now is your chance. You can win 100 free custom stickers from Sticker Mule. Everyone in the chat, let us know where you're watching from, because I always love to see, and that we have such a global audience, which is amazing. So let us know where you're watching from, and we will be right back. And we're back. Yay, we have Chicago, Uruguay, another Chicago,
nice,
Amsterdam,
New Zealand,
Argentina, Macedonia, Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, Vancouver, Iowa, Brazil, Philadelphia. That's where you're from.
Oh.
Yay!
Yeah, those are my friends.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, Irvine, Memphis, all the way from Cali. We're in Cali right now, in SF, San Francisco.
Yes.
Cool.
Nice and warm.
Yeah. Los Angeles,
Morocco.
Morocco. Ooh. Oh, we have a winner! Mana Saderi. I wonder, are you Persian? Because that sounds like a Persian last name. I'm
Maybe.
also Persian, so
Oh.
yay! Congratulations. You're going to be getting 100 free custom stickers from Sticker Mule, which is a great prize, so awesome. Thank you to everyone in the chat for participating. And if you didn't win, if you head over to this link, stickermule.com/Adobe Live 19, you can get 10 stickers for only $1, which is a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, oh, we have so many countries: Brazil, South Africa, Pakistan, Germany, Delaware, Ghana, Sierra Leone. This is amazing.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for being here and helping me design this app. So I actually decided I'm going to go with the language, how can Nuvo help you? And then we can see if that works when we do the prototype. And then give people the option. And I think there's too much space between these, but I didn't create a grid. It's okay. I'll leave it in. Okay, so a person created their profile, so congratulations, you're now officially a member of Nuvo. And then what we had on our user flow here is that after selecting buyer, artist, or curator, they would be able to either continue creating their profile or just choose to go directly to browse the art, since maybe that's like the most important thing for them.
Yeah.
Or browse artists. Maybe they're more interested on the community piece of this app rather than just like the art per se. And then the ability to match with a curator. So we're gonna do a screen where we give them the option to select what they want. So I actually think I had some text files ready. So for what the language should be. So we had confirm password. Okay, so this is it. So I'm going to put this here. Oh, no. Disappears if I put it here. And I'll just start creating a grid.
Yay, repeat grid.
It's only 4 options,
Yeah.
but it still
helps.
helpful. Yeah.
Especially when you want to space it out a certain way, and
Yeah.
you could just
Can I
do
make
it all.
it bigger?
You can
The
double
first one?
click on
Yeah.
the square and then stretch it out.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna add more space between these. Add more space between these. Continue creating your profile.
So these are the different options that the user has when they're on the screen. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
To give them some choices.
So is there like a home screen? on
Yeah,
this app?
that's a good point.
And I was just thinking, like, what would you want? Like, what would the home screen be different for, depending on what you're interested in, maybe?
Maybe.
I
Okay,
don't
let's
know.
think this out, guys. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
So, for example, I was noticing that match with the curator. So I'm going to space this out a little bit more. And this is super low fidelity.
Yeah, that's okay. It's a wireframe.
So for example, like I noticed I've been copying the screens and I have the leftover
Oh, I didn't even notice
login here. So I think what we could do is transform this into a little menu. And then, oh wow, that's very spaced out hamburger menu. And then let's work on creating the home screen. So I do think we do need a home screen. So if a person does click on the menu, what does the menu look like? So let's do that. So if they click on the menu, obviously the menu icon changes probably to an X.
Yeah. Would you want to do like a slide out menu, or what do you think?
Yeah. I was thinking probably like
Or the whole screen?
the whole screen.
Okay.
Just like more bold.
Yeah.
So home or my profile. Tell me more about this idea of the home. What do you think would be on the home?
So what I'm imagining is something like Instagram. When I go to it, it starts with the feed, or something like Twitter, or Pinterest. I'm just imagining if I were to be a return user for this app, if I'm coming back, where would I start on this app? That's just what I'm thinking of, so I don't know.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay. So I think we're doing the menu, but we should definitely have a home. I wonder, should this be, instead of a menu, just a little home icon like you're saying on Instagram?
Maybe. I don't know. If you have any ideas in the chat, let us know.
So I know yesterday we spoke of having other features, which is why maybe having a full menu might be better, because we spoke of like events around you, art swap, art near you, galleries around you. So maybe you would have that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep the menu and I'm gonna add a little home screen.
Oh, Val brings up a good point. Can we talk about what the most important aspects of a home screen are? For some reason, I find that my own home screens are lacking. That's a good point.
So the most important aspects of a home screen, I think that's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
Let me think about this.
I think something that's personalized for you. I don't know. Like on Pinterest, they show, when I open Pinterest, it's pins that are similar to things I've saved, so I kind of like that. But on Instagram or Twitter, I also don't really like this on Instagram, but it's not like in recent order that when people post, it's, I guess, people that I've liked their posts show up first, and I don't always see everyone's posts on Instagram, and I don't want to spend hours scrolling on Instagram to see everyone. So I don't know, and I've heard people say like, I want reverse chronological order back, or on Instagram, and I think Twitter has it, but when I switched to like recent on Twitter, and it was all like news stuff, and then so I prefer having people that I've like interacted with, or those tweets show up first, but that's like my personal preference. So
I think I liked it better before.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I would say like that's why I was wondering if we should do a menu or a home screen. The home screen, to me, really needs to have all that information that is specific to you. So I don't know. Like I think it's more of like your account. So it's personal information that you can edit.
Yeah.
So if you provided, which we'll do now, like if you provided information about your living situation, you might need to change that at some point. So having a place to edit that.
Yeah, like your settings kind of?
Yeah, your settings. So you should have that. I'm gonna make a list because...
Yeah. Julio's asking, what about a bottom menu? Or would that be too many options?
I know, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so I will answer that question in a second. So I think what I was thinking is, at any point during your interaction with the app, after you've created your profile, these 4 options for which I'm going to create little icons will be in the bottom menu.
Oh, okay.
So I think bottom menus, because they're easier to reach on an app, should be for actionable things. So using home for in our case, putting the home here, I don't think is as relevant, because I don't think you would be editing information that often, which is why I want to keep these on the bottom menu, which are more actionable. So at any point you might be browsing art, and then you kind of want to switch to browse artists. So yeah, but I'm thinking is, by the time you created your profile, that kind of becomes your profile. So maybe we don't need a home.
Yeah, maybe, there's like a settings button. I don't know. I keep going back to Instagram, but
which is a great approach, honestly. I think it's very important for us to be thinking of, like, what are the apps we interact with the most, and what are they doing?
Yeah, and like, what do you like about the apps? What do you not like about them? And I think that can be helpful.
Okay, so I'm going to go for now with no home, just because I haven't found a reason for it. And just to answer to Voodoo Val's question, like, I don't think we should force ourselves as experienced designers to have certain things because other people have them. So when we start realizing we need it, so I created that list of icons, ideas for the home. If this list starts making sense, and we feel like we need a home, then yes, let's create a home.
That's a really good point, because it's important to be true to your app and your product and what it needs.
Yeah.
And if you don't need it, then why should you have that?
Yeah.
And something, so I use Spotify a lot to listen to music, and on the Spotify app, there used to be 5 icons on their bottom menu, and then randomly it updated and there's only 3, and I noticed that it went from 5 to 3, but I could not remember what the other 2 were. So it was kind of funny, like, oh, they're so good at their UX on that part, because they really put the most important things that people use, and I didn't even notice that they changed from 5 to 3, so I thought that was kind of cool.
So I'll explain what I'm doing. I usually use pen and paper to like sketch this type of really early wireframes. So I'm trying to recreate that same sort of feel, just so that I can show you guys. And XD like obviously allows for different types of fidelity. It is possible to do like wireframes that are a little bit more thought out and designed than this. At this stage, because we're thinking more of the interaction and the product design, I think it's good to just keep it as lo-fi as possible.
Albert is saying, why don't you make the home screen your art feed screen, and you can have toggles on the top where you browse art, or by artist, or by curator. It's kind of an interesting point. So I think he means having kind of like that, like showing the art that you're interested in based on like the data we were talking about yesterday, and then some toggle options at the top, and once you click like browse artist or art or curator, it kind of switches. I don't know, is that what you're talking about?
I think that's a good idea. So basically when you open the app after you've created your account, the first thing that would show up is actually the feed. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I still think like having all of the options lower down on the screen are probably better for accessibility. But it's kind of like the same concept. You will be able to switch from one to the other at any point.
True.
It's just not within the same screen. So I'm going to, I had created a little icon already. I don't know if, there you go.
Oh, that's so cool. I like that style. It's like, even though it's not high fidelity, I still think it's fun to add that in your wireframes.
And then match with a curator. Okay, you guys can tell me if there's a better icon for it, but I couldn't come up with an idea of an icon for a curator, so I went with the idea of match. So I'm gonna go with a match.
Okay, how are you gonna draw?
Like a match, like a fire, like a.
Oh.
Yes, I know it's very
That's
random.
funny. I was thinking like 2 people together.
I know, but like that's hard to like iconize. How do you
I
like
would,
just
like
2
2
people?
circles and then a half circle.
Okay. Okay.
That's how I do my like people icons.
Yeah, the 2 people and the.
But I'm sure there's better ways of, I don't know. How would you in the chat want an icon for a match with a curator be? I think the match idea is funny.
I think it's funny. Okay, I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah, let's
Sorry.
do it. No, don't be sorry.
Okay, so let's test my drawing skills here.
You're really good with the pen tool. Ooh.
Perfect. That's a match.
Yeah.
Right?
That's funny.
And okay, so then after you do that, let's say that the person chooses to continue creating profile. We didn't solve the whole menu thing, but
It's okay. Maybe it'll come later on.
yes. I'm like doing a million things at once, and I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all designing and just trying to think of the next screen, but also solving the menu. And I do have to say, I normally start with navigation, and I would do the menu early on, but there's always exceptions to the rule.
True.
Yeah. Okay, so creating the profile. I think this is going to be one of those things that might take a few screens. So what's always good to do when you do that is just tell the users that there's more than one. So just, let's say it's gonna take 3 screens. And I could have done that with repeat grid. But
Mana is suggesting that one of the icons should have a brush in her hand. Maybe for Browse Artist.
Okay.
You know? And then June is saying do 2 matches.
2 matches? Okay. Guys.
And Ariana likes the match. I do too. Maybe you can do like flip.
Yeah. Can I do that?
There's this like toggle thing over here where you can flip it.
Where?
Sorry, right here.
This?
Go up a little bit and then down.
What do you mean up and down?
I'm sorry, right here.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. Match with the curator. And then the paintbrush. I feel like you guys are just making me sketch with the pen tool. You're just
I like watching you sketch. I think it's really good.
Wow. There you go. I'm going to say that looks like a paintbrush.
Yeah, it does.
You have to use your imagination.
Yeah. Just a reminder, there's about 40 minutes left to get your submissions in for Camille and I to review them for the XD Daily Creative Challenge. If you've been working on the challenges, even if you're not done with today's challenge, that's totally fine. You can still submit whatever you have. Even if it's a wireframe or you're halfway done, we would still love to see what you've been working on. And if you go to behance.net/live under the challenge tab, you can submit your designs, and then Camille and I can review them, and that'll be in about 40 minutes.
Is it tell us more about you or tell us more about yourself? What's grammatically correct?
I think you.
You. Okay.
I feel like yourself sounds formal. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Tell me about yourself. I don't know. You know?
Tell me about it. Okay, so this is the script I have for now. And you might have noticed that I'm going kind of with like a Mad Libs style of thing where like people just like fill in the blank. And that's to just give that idea of like personalized feeling. So I'm going with I live in So the person can select the city they're in. I'm gonna make this italic. And then, oh, that didn't change.
Albert is saying, tell us more about you, and then comma, and then whatever name they entered in the registration. I like that.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Oh. Albert, I'm gonna hire you as a copywriter. Okay, so I live in blah, blah, blah. Then in a beautiful.
So Savannah, for the challenge this week, for us to review the challenges that you submit, it's actually about the XD Daily Creative Challenge. So whatever you've been working on for the specific challenge prompts is what we're going to be reviewing on today's stream. But if you come back tomorrow, we're going to be doing portfolio reviews. So if you have other projects you want feedback on, definitely come back tomorrow. There's 3 opportunities to get your portfolios reviewed. So we'll do 2 for each stream.
Okay, so we're asking important information about the user, and I don't know if these should be left aligned. What do you guys think?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. But obviously we'll define that in design. So I live in, and they should select the city, and that will give us information to just make sure that we can deliver to that area, because obviously as this is starting out, maybe we won't be available in all cities. So it's just a good information for us to understand the logistics, even before we get into the more granular information on like exactly where they live.
Yeah.
And then what type of house they live in. So that is partly for data collection, but also for us to understand the type of materials that it might be built with. We talked about yesterday, someone mentioned I think they lived in New York, and it's full of brick walls.
Yeah, brick walls.
Yeah. So that type of thing. And then asking them to select the room that they want the art for. So, and then we talked about the who they will be living with, so like the living situation. So the way I phrase this is home equals me plus, and then they can choose who they live with. So the options we're giving are my cute little children.
That's cute. Albert's saying, what if in a beautiful X, maybe floor if it's an apartment, if you're thinking about if you can deliver? I wonder, do you mean if you live in a lot, like a high-rise apartment or something, or if you have a lot of floors, maybe there's no elevator? Because I've lived in apartments where there's no elevator, and I've lived on like the 4th floor, and it's a walk-up.
Okay.
So that can be something.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And I don't know, depending on where you live, like I think this is probably more for apartments because they're on higher floors. What if there's no one there to help you bring it up? Like for me, if I lived by myself, then I can't carry something really heavy, and if I don't have a dolly and there's no elevator, I don't know what I would do.
That's a really good point.
Thank you, Albert. For
Definitely. I think what I'll do is like add that in the next screen, so once they've selected that, they can see that in the next screen. So I just put it as a note here, and we'll get back to that. So far we have home equals me plus my cute little children. Furry creature. Cool roommates.
I like how you're naming these.
We spoke yesterday about making sure that like the tone wasn't too serious, despite this being like an art thing, because part of the problem and the reason we're creating this is that people feel like the art world is out of reach, and like they feel like maybe intimidated by galleries. So we definitely don't want them to feel intimidated. So maybe just making this like more fun.
Oh, that's really cute. My other half.
My crazy family.
Aw.
No, I don't want it with a capital. Okay. And then my awesome self, because maybe you
Yeah.
just live on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I usually would say provide an other option when you're like giving options like these.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do it this time around just because it's gonna make the whole thing look maybe a little less symmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
But always consider when you're giving options, unless you're absolutely sure you're giving all of the options available, that you should provide an other.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because if I was a user and I didn't fit any of these categories, then I would feel stuck and I feel like, oh, this app isn't for me. I'm just gonna close out of this. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We don't want anyone to be using it yet. Okay, so I promise I will draw little sketches for each one of these.
Oh, I can't wait.
For the sake of the time we have, I'm gonna go on and just, oh. So now they're on their second screen. Okay, so how do we phrase this? Are there elevators?
Have you ever used the app Dolly?
No.
It's like a delivery service type of app. When I was living in Seattle, I wanted to buy my mattress from Costco because they have good mattresses and they're pretty reasonably priced.
Okay.
But the Costco in Seattle doesn't deliver, which sucks. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And I didn't have a car in Seattle, so I couldn't. Obviously, like a bed wouldn't fit in my car anyway if I had one. But I was trying to think of my options, and the Dolly app delivers it for you. And one of the options I remember was, is there an elevator? Like they had like buttons that would say like, elevator, no elevator, or stairs, and then you can choose like how many people you would need, and then what you need delivered. So if it was a couch, or if you're like buying a couch from Craigslist or OfferUp or something, and you can't you don't have the means to deliver it to your apartment, you request it, and then people can someone that has a truck or a car that can fit a mattress or a couch can kind of bring it to you. But I ended up not using Dolly.
Oh no!
Because
I was gonna say like, are you working?
I like set a request, and then I bought the mattress, but Costco keeps it until like 6 p.m. And it was like 3, and then no one accepted my request, which was really sad because I couldn't like wait for someone to do it. So I rented a Zip car. I don't know if any of you know what Zip car is, but it's basically a car you rent by the hour, and then I rented a huge truck. I don't know the name of it, but it's a really, really, really big truck that can fit a mattress, and I drove it with my friend. She helped me. But it was really scary to drive, and I was like, oh my god, I can't like switch lanes in this. But eventually I got the mattress into my apartment, and yeah, so yeah, something like
okay, from what I'm getting is that we're asking users to.
Yeah, so I liked how the Dolly app kind of had, you kind of describe what you needed and how your apartment situation was, so they could prepare for how to deliver it. But
so, is this clear that this is an elevator? Like, I think in the context of...
when I look at this, I think of a box that someone has delivered, like from IKEA or something, and it's like
this side up. Okay, so it isn't clear. What I'm hearing is that it isn't clear. Okay, fine. I will. I don't know. I don't even know how to do an elevator.
Maybe.
Just write elevator.
Know.
How was it on the Dolly thing?
I don't remember.
Wait.
I haven't used it in a really long time. Maybe like a circle that says up, and then one that says down. I don't know. Manas has a good suggestion. Maybe we can ask, how do you get to your home/apartment? And then the options we have stairs, elevator. It's a good way of wording it, I think.
Perfect. Yes, I love that. How do we get to?
Oh yeah, Paco says maybe 2 circles, one that says up and the other down. Yeah, I think that makes me think of an elevator.
Like this? Like up and down? I'm not sure I understand.
I think
what
so,
you
like
guys are
2
saying.
circles on top of each other.
Okay.
Like when you're going to an elevator, and you push like up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Val's saying put arrows above the box and put human icons inside of the box.
Okay. And this is how we spend 25 minutes.
That's okay. This is what design is about.
Okay. I think I'm going to try with this and then I'm going to move on because this is just a wireframe and I'm sure I can find somewhere out there someone that already solved this problem. I have faith in the design community that someone came up with a better idea for the elevator. And this is just a wireframe, so. But I like the idea of having people inside of it. Okay, so we're leaving it like this.
Yay.
How do we get to your home? Okay, so then we also talked about the material of the walls. So as far as you know?
I don't really know what walls are made out of.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, like concrete walls would be hard. Or, I don't know. For you in the chat, do you have any suggestions on wall materials or how we should name this section?
What are your walls made?
So Albert's saying materials of the walls and the space available.
Yeah, so we'll definitely get to a whole part of the onboarding, which is like dedicated to the room. So I think we spoke yesterday about being able to take a photo, maybe a video, and then maybe creates a little plan so that you can...
Oh, wood, concrete, bricks. Thank you, Albert.
Okay, so...
I guess I thought there was like more options for what walls are made out of.
Well, there's like drywall and...
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna leave it like this for now, and then in design we can add some like material texture.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
Okay. And then we're going to steal the next button from here. And we're also gonna add it here.
Oh yeah, Jennifer is saying drywall.
Yeah. Okay, so. Okay, so now we get to the fun part. Or should we go to, what was the thing we were talking about? Oh, the room. Okay, so.
So Christina is asking what is she creating. So if you're just joining us, Camille is designing an art subscription app, and right now she's in the wireframing stage. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about your project.
Yeah,
for anyone new.
I'm working on this business idea, which is an art subscription that would allow you to browse art and find art that you can keep at your place for like 6 months. 12 months, you would have a curator selected for you based on your style and what you like, and then you would also be able to learn a little bit about the artist or influences, so that maybe you become more knowledgeable in the art world if you then later on want to become an investor yourself. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you decide after 6 months to keep the art, you can also do that, and that would like discount it from the total price of the art based on what you've already paid for your subscription. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so we're at this stage asking users to take a video of their room. That's a little camera icon.
That's so cute.
And then the last portion of this is so I locked this earlier. I can unlock it now and delete it. And then it would give you a little floor plan.
Ooh, like an overview of it?
Yes.
That's cool. So you said you studied interior design. Did you spend time making like these type of floor plans?
Yes, all the time.
Nice.
So that's a door opening. I'm sorry, it's not very clear, but
I think it looks pretty clear.
okay. So here's the room you scanned, and then we would ask you to select the wall. To hang the art.
I think you forgot to unfill that one.
Yes.
Oh, the board. Would there be ever an option if someone got like a small art piece that they want? I don't know if anyone would like hang it, like put it on their table or something and not hang it. Would that ever be an option? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
like a picture frame that has that lean thing. I don't know what it's called.
What do you think?
Like, you know, a picture frame has that thing that you lean. I don't know the word for it. It is slipping my mind. But
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. So select the wall.
But I don't know if you
I
want,
don't.
if most of this app is just hanging wall art.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because we spoke yesterday of the fact that we had people that said that they own sculptures and things like that.
Oh,
so
right.
obviously, like, that wouldn't be hanging on a wall unless it's a wall sculpture. So I think it's important to give people the option to not hang it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good point. I don't want
Oh, Val is saying the stand, yes.
the stand. Yes.
Stand, thank you.
And I actually
Frame
have
stand, yes.
a friend saying that the elevator sign is a rectangle with people inside. Know it all. I don't want the art to hang on any walls. Any wall? Okay, so from a UX perspective though, how should we make this like a... I'm gonna put a little or.
There's about 20 minutes left to get your design submissions in for Camille and I to review them. So if you've been working on the XD Daily Creative Challenges, please share that with us. We would love to give you some feedback. You can find out more information on behance.net/daily creative challenge if you want to look at the past dates, if you're new to it, or if you've been working on it. And even if you're still on day 2 or 3, that's totally fine. You can still submit it and we can give you feedback wherever you are at this point. And you can submit your designs on behance.net/live under the challenges tab.
So we're asking people to select the wall, and the idea is that if they tap on it, then it would highlight.
I like that.
And then inform them that they've selected one. Obviously, if they tap on two, it's like,
it'll-
it says two.
Cool.
So then they can move on. Okay. So what does the next screen say? Oh, I had planned to do the art first. Okay, so I think we're done with like the information about your room. And we can move on to selecting the artwork. So help us understand.
Garafi is asking if you can update your design from the previous session to be reviewed. Yes, absolutely. We would love that. So I know we reviewed yours this morning, so if you have any updates, you can submit that again and we can give you feedback on your updates. Albert is saying, how would the tab, I think maybe you mean app, how would the app know what is a wall and what is a door? Maybe like the AI technology, or I don't know, the technology of the app is advanced.
Oh,
and it
okay.
knows,
I understand the question. Yes, so there actually, there's a lot of technology that already exists to scan rooms. So that's definitely something that we wouldn't need to be creating. But I think it understands that because there's a frame, a wall, a door frame, that it's a door. But I don't know exactly the details. Maybe you need to open the door. And if that's the case, obviously, like maybe we should like write that.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Like, make sure your doors are open.
Yeah. Oh, doors are open.
I love how fast you can draw that.
So that's art, guys. I promise our app will have, well, our service will have better artwork than what you're seeing right now. Okay, so the idea here is to start getting some information on what art the person likes. So we will be doing this exact same step a few times. So basically, let's say that they pick the one on the left, then we would switch the one on the right to get to like the one that they like the most.
Cool. So would it, how many screens are you envisioning would it take until the app kind of knows the style?
So it's interesting because I would say probably like 5 would be a good amount, but I also want to be thinking of the user. So like, does it get annoying after like 3? I don't know. So I think because it's only choosing between 2, maybe we can just do it 3 times and then move on to like free word association, which is what we had talked about yesterday. So let's say that this person chooses.
Oh, Christina is asking a great question. What if they like both?
Well, you have
That's
to
hard.
pick your favorite. And I think that's a great point. There's some moments in your user experience where you will be guiding your user to be doing something that maybe isn't like necessarily what they would do. But it's important to just be training your user to what you want them to, how you want them to be interacting with the app. So obviously later on they will be able to select more than one, but because this is only the point where we're trying to get an idea, It's just that information, like it's data collection. I wonder, do you guys think that we should have like a cute little message that explains why?
Like explains the
Like-
different styles, or
No, it just explains that
Why
later
you're
on you'll
choosing-
be able to like
Oh,
select
maybe.
more.
yeah.
Help us understand. Pick your favorite. Don't.
There's something I did. So there's a site called Topshop, and it's like a clothing brand that I really like. And a while ago, they have like a style quiz where you can choose what styles you like, and then it'll show you options based on your style. So they'll show you pictures of clothing options they have, and you can kind of select your favorites. So they'll show like 10 different various styles that they offer, and then you select ones, and then you go next, and then it's like, what are your favorite pant styles or something, or like shoes. And so this is kind of what it reminds me of. So you kind of like pick and choose. But in that instance, I think Topshop has a lot of different styles. So I don't know. And it wasn't like one or two. It was like, you can pick as many as you want. But yeah. And then I think at the end, it was pretty accurate to my style. But I kind of wanted to experiment and see how that would be like. And Albert is asking you how many screens roughly now for a new user between where they enter their name until they complete their sign-up process, because it feels like quite a lot, I think.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So how many do we have? We have 12, which is a lot. So maybe what we could do is give them the option maybe around this point to actually leave these details for later. And we're kind of giving this option here, but
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel?
Can you go to the screen and like kind of zoom in on this one where the different options? So when you continue creating your profile is what the screens that you've been working on.
Yes.
So I think the user can decide if they want to browse, and then maybe like we were talking about earlier about having the bottom nav, maybe if they're in this process and they're like, oh, this is too much for me right now. I just want to browse some art. Then they can do that. I don't know. I think that
Okay.
could be something. Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is that we'll move these little icons here.
Oh, Albert is saying maybe like LinkedIn, ask the bare essentials and then say complete your XYZ to increase matching process accuracy by 15%. So I know on LinkedIn it says like your profile is 70% completed or something. So maybe adding that could be.
Okay, yeah. Oh. I don't know. I just put 70 because
Yeah.
you just said that.
I just randomly thought of 70.
I'm going to say 60. Because if we're going to be going this route, then I would add more screens and then add payment options at the end of creating the profile. If a person just wants to go ahead and create their profile so that they don't have to worry about it later. So your profile is 60. Should we say 60%? I feel like that's very, like, serious.
Yeah.
Like, it
does
works for
seem-
LinkedIn
yeah.
because it's, like, very...
LinkedIn is like professional
Yeah.
and yeah.
halfway done? No, because that feels like you have a lot to go.
Yeah.
Almost done.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
that
a
seems
lie.
more casual.
I feel like sometimes
that makes it more casual.
Yeah. Thanks, your profile is almost done. You can continue creating your profile.
I like that. Because that, as a user, that would make me feel like, oh, okay, I don't have to do this right now, but I can go back to it later. Because I feel like some apps, they kind of make you do everything at first, and it can be overwhelming. And maybe you just want to get straight into the app, and you don't want to spend time doing that. So.
Why am I not? Oh, okay. Why is it only resizing the big one, the small one?
Oh.
Wow.
Well, that's weird.
And then what's the last one? The last one is
the matches. I think those are my favorite. And I like the face too with the brush.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday about signature experiences and how it's important in UX to have those like icons or moments in which you like create something that's very different to what other people have been doing in their experiences. So maybe the matches not being the usual icon you see out there.
Yeah,
could be
that
signature.
can. Yeah, people can remember this app. Oh, they have the matches.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put these as inactive because you're on the profile, creating profile tab. And then maybe this can be more of like a tip, just telling you that you can continue to add some art here. Okay, so if they do that, then let's create the screen for the art. So do we think it should be some sort of grid, or should it be, I was thinking I wanted it to be like less, like not so repetitive. What do you think?
I kind of like that, like broken up look, kind of like that. Yeah, and I get like you can show different types of art as well, and kind of get the whole picture. So. If you like completed like squares, then you can repeat grid and then just drag that. And that can be an easy way to kind of have that scrolling effect in the future when you're prototyping and stuff.
Like this?
Yeah, and then maybe adjust the spacing to make it look like it's continuous.
Perfect.
Yay.
Okay, so I'm thinking we should have some information about the artist. But I wonder if that should be once you click on the art. So yeah, so I've worked with some art with museums and art organizations, and one thing to keep in mind is that it is actually, I think, not allowed to cover art with text because you're actually altering the artwork.
Oh,
so
wow.
In that case, it means that we would either need for the art to be smaller and have the text here, or we make that only available upon
After you
clicking.
click on it.
Yeah. So for now, I'm gonna leave it like this.
Yeah, Christina's asking a good question. Who would take pictures of the art? Would it be the curator or the artist?
That's a really good question. So I don't know if this is still the case, but I know Airbnb for a very long time sent a photographer to your house. So I imagine once you create your profile as the artist, then maybe you would have someone come in to take photos of your artwork, which is also a great thing for artists. If you think about it, they would have like professional photos of their art taken.
That's true. It would be, I wonder how difficult it would be if they live like around the United States. I think you're starting this focus on the United States, right? So if someone lived in like Washington and someone else lived in Florida, how would someone go to their house or take pictures? Would that be
I think
difficult?
Yeah, probably difficult. So similar to the curator, that person would probably receive some sort of like payment. If you're a photographer, you can provide your services. Maybe it's not something you do through the app. Maybe it's some sort of
like you hire a local photographer or something and make sure your pictures look professional, and then you can upload them.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a great idea.
So when you hover a tile, that's a good point. Let's make sure that, so the comment is when you hover over a tile, you can darken the photo and say Cow in the Meadow by Rembrandt. So let's do that. So when a person selects a tile, then
We have about 2 minutes left to get your design challenges submitted for us to review. Can't wait to look at what you guys have submitted.
So how do I do this? Like, so if I created a grid?
Actually, on XD, there's no hover feature, which a lot of people have been asking about, and I hope that they'll have it in the future, but right now there's no word, I don't think, about it, so.
Okay. But even like just to like simulate the hover feature, could I like separate this item from the grid? Or once it's in the grid, it's
so
stuck?
would you want, when they hover, would you want the image to kind of get bigger or just darken once you're like...
I was going to go with darken since Albert said that, but I like the idea of making it bigger.
Yeah.
So maybe
we can, because then you can use auto animate to make it bigger, and then it can kind of like transform to the bigger size.
Yeah. So I'm going to make this.
Oh yeah, it could be kind of like a like pop in, pop out kind of effect. And then I think that would be cool. Oh yeah, Val is giving us the link for adobeXD.uservoice.com, which is a great resource if you have any feature ideas that you want XD to have, like cover or anything like that. Definitely go on that website and you can put out your feature ideas or search what other people have wanted as features, and you can upvote them, and then the XD team takes that very seriously and they'll review them and work on those features. Osama saying you can ungroup the grid, change the color, and then regroup it. Okay. And so but that, I think that you can do that once you're done with the repeat grid option, because then you won't be able to make it longer. But once you're at that stage, you can ungroup it, and then
I would go here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can double click on that and change the fill. Thank you, Osama.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
So, giving information about the artist, the title of the art, if there is one, the size, and like the technique. I don't know what, like the...
Oh yeah, the medium?
Medium,
Yeah.
there you go. That's the word. And is there anything else I should be providing? The one thing I'll do is make sure that the artist name is a link so that they can click and go to the artist name.
Yeah. So it's actually time for the challenge review. Yay! Thank you to everyone for submitting. I'm excited to review them.
Yay!
Yay! So we can switch over to my screen. So this one is from Garafi again, and they submitted this morning. Thank you again for submitting. I'm excited to see what changes there are. So, yay! So Petty Love. Home food
This is
accessories.
great. Here we are, a one-stop shop for pet owners and animal lovers, whether you're looking for supplies for your dog, cat, bird, fish, or ferret.
That's cute.
Nice.
Yay. Let's click on the cat. Ooh, nice.
That's a great animation.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love all the cats.
Cat's food.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, nice. I like how you added this. Oh, this wasn't here this morning, so great job.
Yeah.
I like how it's in a grid and the pictures are bigger so you can see the detail of the food. It kind of makes it easy and fun to scroll through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and I like this animation.
Yes.
Oh my god. So cute. Cat toys. Yay. Other cat accessories. Yeah, this is awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's see, is there anywhere I can go back? Ooh, I love that animation.
Yes, very nice animation. I love that.
Oh, okay. So Garafi says there's more on the homepage. Ooh, cool. So this could be
Like a video?
yeah, or maybe some like a sale or something. Whoa,
That's great.
that's cool. Oh, I like how you are adding a lot more animals than most people.
That's
But
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, always think of that edge case, the people that maybe have that animal that
Yeah,
you wouldn't
like
think
fish or a bunny.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool. I love all your animations and everything, and you added so much in such a short amount of time. So awesome job.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
great.
Yay. I just love the animations.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
I would say like always think also of like accessibility. So animations, the images are great, but maybe there's an opportunity to like provide a little tag that says what the animal is.
Yeah.
So
like
for people using
alt
screen
tags.
readers,
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really important as well.
But obviously, like this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah,
Just
this
saying,
is
like
great.
in the future.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. So thank you, Garafi.
And I love the tagline: "Love them, feed them."
Yeah. That's so cute. So next up, we have this from Vit. Thank you for submitting.
Fooder.
Oh, here's a sad doggo.
Want to make her happy?
Yes, give
Yes.
me food, gotta feed my own. I like this line art down here. It kind of reminds me of your pen tool art.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, let's see. For each feedback form filled, we will donate a bag full of goodies to a local shelter. Aw,
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
good. Yeah. No, I'm evil.
That's accurate. Like
Yeah.
if you don't want to donate, you're probably evil.
There's like some debate on when forms like this have that kind of negative connotation when you don't want to select the item. Like as the designer, you want them to say yes, let's do it. But I think it's really important to think about not punishing the user by saying no, I'm evil, because that can make them feel bad.
Yeah.
And maybe not everyone has the means to
Of
donate or something. So I think that's something important to keep in mind.
Always think of the type of language that would make them feel okay with their choice.
Yeah.
It could be like, not right now.
Yeah.
Thanks, not right now. Or something
maybe
like
later
that.
or something.
Maybe
Yeah, I think
later.
just changing it so it's not so negative. Because if I go on some random websites like shopping sites or something, their, or like a subscription, like news site or something like that, and they want you to subscribe or to the email newsletter, and then if you don't want to do it, they say, no, I don't want to get great deals or something like that. And I don't know, I just, for me personally, I don't appreciate when they do that.
Yeah, it's the same. They do that a lot with insurance, like for flights and things like that. Like, no, I don't want to insure my flight.
Yeah, like buying like a train ticket or something, and they're like, no, with flights.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to. Or when I buy like concert tickets or something, and you want the insurance, I don't know, and it makes you feel bad, but also I know as the buyer, like I don't need this.
I don't need this. I don't need you to be sassy with me.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting debate, honestly, and that's the responsibility you have as a UX designer. Think of how the user will feel.
Yeah.
And obviously the language that they use, like the insurance companies and flight companies and train companies, they do it so that you are incentivized to click on what will give them more money. So yes, there's that debate because the UX designer is at the intersection between like the profitability of a product and the desirability from the perspective of the user. So you kind of have to choose, maybe based on your client or if you're creating a product, what type of voice and tone you want to be having. Are you more easygoing and forgiving, or do you think you should be a little bit more prescriptive?
Yeah, and that can be tough, especially if like on the business side they're pushing this type of language, but you as a designer are saying, no, we really shouldn't. So that can be tough. But on the design aspect, I think,
no, this is great.
Yeah. One thing I would just change is this top part. Just make that white or a lighter color like this. I don't know if you can even see it on there, but it's the time and the battery, Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So this, I would just make that white, especially if you have a darker background. But
I'm saying that maybe use a smiley face. Yeah, that could be a good way to lighten the mood. I do that a lot on emails when I feel like I'm saying something that maybe could be taken the wrong way. I just put a smiley face.
Nice. I do that in like texting. I'll say LOL.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, let's do. Okay, let's start. How did you feel about the new cart experience?
I'm done.
Who even did the... That's funny. Loved it. So, okay, so this was for getting the user to rate the experience.
Okay.
Would you change anything? Oh, so I'm wondering why this is grayed out. Is that not... But then I can hover and I can...
I didn't have time to switch to white, unfortunately.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. Thanks for submitting anyway.
Yeah, thank you. It's perfect as is.
Oh, I like that animation.
Yeah, and I like how you're adding the box for something extra, and I think we talked about that yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
When you're rating something, like on Uber or Lyft, for example, or this app, I don't know, and maybe someone doesn't want to type it out, but other people might want to give personalized feedback, so I think that it's good that you included that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I would say like the one little suggestion I would have is at the very first screen, maybe already introduce the copy that you had on the second one, because I wasn't very clear. It wasn't very clear at the beginning.
This one?
Yes. I think it wasn't very clear that it was a service, what the service was about.
Yeah, me too, actually.
So it's always good to just, in that splash screen, that first interaction, to be as clear as possible. And I know I'm not doing that on mine. So
okay. Yeah, I think maybe, I like how you're being playful with here's a sad doggo, and maybe that can be like the second header, and on top you can say, please rate your experience, or how did you feel? I don't know, there's a lot of different ways to kind of bring that rating aspect onto it, but I think giving a little more context would be helpful. Let's go back to the fifth screen where we were. So any final thoughts? Continue. We are eternally grateful for your feedback, and doggos will be too.
That's cute. And the little icon.
Okay. So one thing I will say is if you maybe this X shouldn't be here, or maybe it can be a home button or something.
Or a back arrow.
Yeah, but if it was a back arrow, I wouldn't necessarily want to come back to this.
Yeah. Where is it leading you?
Yeah.
So you get here.
Yeah, I think unless there's review your feedback, but I don't know, because I know some sites have like review your order before you finalize and pay.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes,
yeah,
with feedback and reviews, sometimes people will write something really like fast. Maybe they had a bad experience and they wrote it and they didn't have time to think about it. So you have to think of that moment where the user might be just being a little impulsive. So maybe having the option to review feedback.
Yeah, I think that would be the only instance I would want to go back to that screen.
Yeah.
Let's see the next page. Okay, thanks anyway. Have a nice day. Maybe this was the screen for or maybe if you had a bad experience. I don't know. Maybe these are different options that he created. She did, and she hungry. Okay, let's go feed her. How did you feel about the new cart experience? Okay, so this is kind of going back.
Okay. Not sure.
Okay. Fair enough. Would you change anything? I think this type of language, it depends on what your app is and what your audience is. It's funny and playful, but it could also kind of not be very trustworthy, or I don't know. It really depends on what you want the tone and voice.
Yeah, and we were talking yesterday of the fact that most of the time people will have interacted with your brand beforehand. Maybe they know about it. Maybe a friend told them about it. So make sure that if you choose that language, if that is the tone you're going with, it's consistent across your whole app and like brand strategy and
brand identity.
Yes, and like even like on magazines and like the taglines that you use. Just be consistent with that so that people know what they're about to encounter. It's all about like the expectations.
Exactly. If the whole app experience was really calm and peaceful, and then I randomly saw these as my options, I would be kind of taken aback. And not expecting this on this type of app.
And obviously, like the language also depends on your audience. It's important to have a vision for your brand and know what type of language you want to be using, but think of your audience and do, if you can, testing.
And research, and that's also really important. But okay, what would that be? Please share and write your feedback.
Great. I think we saw them all. Yeah.
So really, really good job. But I think there's some few things, like little tweaks that you could do to make it just elevate the design and the language. I think is probably
it's a really good starting point, and I think it has just a few tweaks on the content strategy part of it. But you had some nice animations, and I think it's you're giving like little small interactions so that it's not overwhelming, which
That's
is great.
Good. And kind of breaking that up and giving that extra option to enter your thoughts and everything. I think that's really good. So thank you, Vit, for submitting. And tomorrow, if you tune in again, we're going to be doing portfolio reviews.
Yay.
So if you have other designs, even if they're not XD Daily Creative Challenge related, we can review your portfolios tomorrow. So that's exciting. That's my favorite one. I love looking at portfolios. So definitely tune back tomorrow for portfolio reviews.
Yes, I'm very excited about the portfolio reviews. There's always great opportunities even for us to learn from yours and like the whole community to see what other people are doing.
Exactly. It's so inspiring. Yay, cool. So we can switch back over to Camille's laptop.
Thanks everyone for submitting.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we're at the point where a person has choosing the artwork they want to explore. So one thing that I was thinking of is that we actually didn't think of the fact that maybe people want to search, and then also maybe they don't want to find more information about the art, they just want to like it. So we should be adding maybe a little heart icon like Instagram, so that they can tap directly on that. I wonder, am I editing the grid? Is there any way I could
do it on all of them?
Yeah.
So it would have to have been in the repeat grid mode.
Okay.
But I think when we were talking about this with Erica in the earlier stream, but there's going to be an override symbols feature coming soon to XD, which would allow you to create a symbol and then make it a repeat grid, and then you can change that symbol and it would change it in all the instances. And right now with symbols, and anything you change will change everything. So with the new override feature, you can do little tweaks, which I'm really excited about, because
same.
That will take it to the next level, I think.
So since I didn't think of this before, this is a little harder, but I am trying to repeat the grid anyway, so.
Nice.
What? Nope.
Oh, I think you might have to do the spacing after.
Okay, I'm not gonna use it this time. I tried. What happened? Oh, because I did. What am I doing wrong?
What is happening?
I don't know. It's not. I think it's okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I had it. I don't know why I can't select
it's hard
just
to
one.
because I think it's so small. Maybe try zooming in, so you can have more space to click on.
Okay, I had accidentally created a grid out of a little heart.
Oh.
That's what was happening. So if a user wants to just like the art, they can click directly on this, tap that, or they can, if they want to find out more about the art, they tap on it and they will be taken to this screen. This being the hover state, but obviously we don't have that option available.
Yeah.
So one thing I'll do is add a search icon in case a person wants to search for a specific painting. Maybe they already came and saw art they liked and remember the name.
Yeah. There's an interesting question from Albert and Val. And it's that, can a particular art piece ever be put forward by one curator? So maybe there's, and as an artist, Val is saying, what if you only want certain people to have access to your art, and maybe you can assign a specific curator for your art? Would that be a possible option?
So the idea is that if you're the artist, you select one specific curator to represent you?
Yeah, so Val was saying if the service could be used privately. And then Albert is saying if a particular art piece is special for one curator maybe, or if they have access to it, you can make the link to the curator next to the artist and kind of feature them as well. I think that's a good idea.
It is a good idea. I hadn't considered it, but I think it's it's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
Specific artwork, and I'm writing it down as an idea, and I don't think it will make it into the wireframe flow of today, but it's always good to just keep your ideas.
Yeah, I agree.
For the future specific artwork. Okay, so we were here and we said that a person chose the artwork they like the most, and then the one that they chose last will ask them, would you say this is your style? So the idea here is to have users select whether this is something that they feel represents them, and if it doesn't, they can go to a section where they can choose words that
like
they...
the word association.
Yeah.
Val is saying, say I have a painting, but I don't want it to be sent to just anybody. Can I make it exclusive to like groups within the app?
How would you, that's a really good idea. How would you envision groups existing? So do you like create your profile and then you join a group? Maybe there's like a member.
Yeah, like a membership kind of. That would be cool. Yeah, and Val is saying that would give folks an incentive to use the app, become popular, and get to join exclusive groups. That would be really cool.
I wonder if you can like self-select to be part of a group or if you need to be invited.
Ooh, yeah, like dribble.
Invited by other members.
Yeah.
To join. Great ideas, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so giving them the option to choose, you don't have to give the not sure option, but I think the yes and no tends to be a little too black and white. So I personally like to think of that indecisive person. We all have that friend that is incapable of making a decision or are that person. So just give them the option. In the user flow, you'll see that if you said unsure or no, it still leads you to the same screen. Okay. But maybe you're not sure that you don't like that art, so giving them that option.
I think that's good. Val is saying, maybe I can create a group and I alone can invite people to it. And perhaps I can also apply or ask permission to join a group.
Oh, that's
I like
great.
that idea.
Yeah. Oh. And then from here, at this point, now we know enough about you, and we would lead you to the art browsing stage.
So we have a few minutes left. Maybe, Camille, you can do a quick overview of the screens that you created, and then let us know what you're going to be working on tomorrow for the last day of streams.
Yeah, okay. So we started with the introduction to the app Nouveau that just asks you to first enter your name so that all of the information will then be using that name to communicate with you, and has some message and tagline. So welcome to your own private gallery. It has some information about what the service is. It has some testimonials to make sure that you feel like it's a trustworthy app. And then it asks you to self-identify as a user, whether you are an artist, a buyer, or a curator. And then after that, you start creating your profile. So enter email and password, and then you can explore. The exploration piece of it is either you continue creating your profile, you browse some art, you browse artists, or you start looking for the curator that matches your style. But we went on and we decided to create the profile onboarding portion of it. So it asks you to select your city, your house, the room you wanted on, who you live with, some more details about like how the art would get there. So it's stairs or elevator, materials. And then at this point, to not make it too long, we said that we would break the flow with this transition screen where users can then make the choice to just go and explore some art before they continue creating their profile. So if they created their profile, they continued with their profile, they would scan the room, it would create a little map, a little floor plan of their room where they can select where they want the art, and it will tell them how many walls have been selected as they tap on each one of them, or they can just say next, and then ask them to pick between two art pieces, so that we start understanding what type of user and style they have. After they have this final artwork that supposedly represents them best, we ask them if they feel this is representative of their style. And if they said no, we have some free word association, some word association, where they can just select what style they are. Once they created their profile, or if they decide to browse art, they would be able to see this grid with just the visuals of the artwork. They can either tap and like the artwork, or they can, if they select the area highlighted here in gray, they would have this animation that pops up the art and just gives them the title, the artist name, and the medium.
Cool. You got so much done today.
That's awesome. So what we'll do tomorrow is not focus on wireframes anymore, and we'll start just making this high fidelity.
Yay.
So that you start seeing some colors.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Thank you for everyone in the chat for your amazing feedback, as always, and all your ideas. We love hearing them, and thank you for joining us again. Thank you to Camille for coming back for day 2. I'm excited for tomorrow. We'll be back here at 8:30 with Howard kicking off the day's stream. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Yay. Bye, everyone.
See you tomorrow.